Nancy Pelosi's response to the reporter who asked her if she hates Trump is the embodiment of Shakespeare's "Methinks that I screwed it up, darn it. The lady doth protesteth too much, methinks." Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber. I do vlogs and occasionally have dogs in the video. I saw this clip that's sort of gone viral of Nancy Pelosi unloading on a reporter who asked her if she hates Donald Trump. Now I'm going to play the clip from beginning to end uninterrupted in case you are one of the few people who has yet to see it. Here it is right now.
Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker? Because
I don't hate anybody.
Representative Collins,
I was raised in a
I
Catholic house. We don't hate anybody, not anybody in the world. So don't accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
I asked a question.
You did. And
Representative Collins yesterday suggested that the Democrats are doing this simply because they don't like the guy.
I have nothing to do with it. Let me just say this.
I think it's an important point.
I think the president is a coward when it comes to helping our kids who are afraid of gun violence. I think he is cruel when he doesn't deal with helping our dreamers, of which we're very proud. I think he's in denial about the climate crisis. However, that's about the election. This is about the election. Take it up in the election. This is about the Constitution of the United States and the facts that lead to the president's violation of his oath of office. And as a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate in a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
Now, her entire diatribe is a thing of subconscious beauty. For those of you who don't know me, I am a Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, but I also consider myself to be an extremely good judge of a person's character. Above and beyond knowing the law, one of the most important characteristics of a good lawyer is being able to read people. Especially when it comes to cross-examination, it's about knowing when someone is being deceptive with you. And there are a number of ways that people can be deceptive, both conscious and subconscious. And Nancy Pelosi's response to that reporter is a gem of the subconscious body movements that materialize themselves when someone is being deceptive. Now, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but back in the day, I used to do quite a few body language videos. And before anyone accuses me of partisanship in terms of the subject matter that I choose for body language readings, I once did a body language reading where I was, dare I say it,
critical of Donald Trump in his dealing with Cecilia Vega.
Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. She's shocked that I picked her.
Like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
You know, I'd like...
I think we can stop it right there. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about or don't remember that particular incident, I'm going to put that video up right here. Give it a watch. This response from Nancy Pelosi. It reeks of what I call overcompensation. Right from the first moment, it reeks of overcompensation. When anybody starts wagging a finger and pointing their finger at you,
I don't hate anybody.
There's the old expression that when you point a finger at someone, there are three pointing right back at you. But above and beyond that, it is a sign of deception. Come on, that's a joke. It's all contextual, but when someone denies something and then vigorously shakes their finger at you, it is typically a sign of deception. They are trying to distract from the accusation and bring shame on the person who made the accusation. And in that sense, the way it materializes itself is not just as a denial, but rather a shifting of the blame back on you. How dare you accuse me of that?
How dare you?
It can be deliberate or it can be subconscious, but it's one of the oldest indications in the book. And the over-exaggerated nature of the response is itself telling as well.
Representative Collins,
I was raised in a Catholic house.
You don't hate anybody.
Typically, when someone gets accused of a falsehood, a mere denial is sufficient. No, that's not true. But when you get into these overblown, over-the-top, how dare you accuse me of such improprieties, shame on you,
Shame on you.
that's when you know that there is overcompensation for the accusation to hide what the person either consciously or subconsciously knows to be true. Nancy Pelosi wags her finger at the person who dare ask her such a question. She gesticulates in a manner that is over the top.
Accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
And then she has to get back on the podium to address this question question, one of the most serious questions she's ever been asked in her career as a politician. In the ordinary run of things, most people would have just ignored the question to begin with. Or if they truly did not agree with the substance of the question, they would simply say, no, I don't hate anybody, and they would go on with their day. But Nancy Pelosi has to stop everything, confront the reporter, wag her finger at him, get back on the podium, and then enter into another minute of full overblown denial. The substance of her denial, she thinks the president is a coward.
I think the president is a coward when it comes to helping our kids who are afraid of gun violence.
She thinks the president is cruel.
I think he is cruel when he doesn't deal with helping our dreamers, of which we're very proud.
She thinks he's in denial.
I think he's in denial about the Constitution, about the climate crisis.
And she prays for the president.
And always prayed for the president. Prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time.
Now, as far as prayers go, typically people don't pray for just about anybody. They pray for people they love.
And they pray for people they don't love.
And the one thing those two groups have in common is that the person has to feel passionately about a person that they pray for. People do not pray for things or people to whom they are indifferent. And I'm left watching this wondering, if she doesn't hate him, what does hatred mean to her? Now, hatred is a very interesting concept. Try and define for yourself what hatred is without entering into a circular definition. Hatred, really hating someone, really not liking someone. If someone admits that they think someone else is a cruel coward who is living in denial but then goes on to say they don't hate them, I would ask them what they mean by the word hatred. As far as my own observation goes, the truly interesting thing about this entire thing is that it's clear that Nancy Pelosi hates Donald Trump. And she's not alone. A ton of people actually hate Donald Trump in accordance with the truest definition of the word hatred. Hey Siri, what's the definition of hatred?
Hatred means intense dislike, hate.
What? Siri has defined hatred as intense dislike, hate. Even Siri has fallen into the circular definition of the term hatred. Nancy Pelosi is verbally denying that which she is implicitly recognizing. She is implicitly recognizing the sentiment in everything she says and does, but she is trying to deflect the blame because she obviously feels ashamed of the way she feels. Which brings us into another very interesting thing, the distinction between guilt and shame. A lot of people use the terms interchangeably, but there is a fundamental distinction between the two concepts. Someone feels guilty about an action. Someone feels ashamed about themselves. Guilt is I did something wrong. Shame is
I am wrong.
And watching Nancy Pelosi's futile denial of something that she is so clearly subconsciously acknowledging is true highlight the fact that deep down, either consciously or subconsciously, she knows she feels that way and she feels ashamed about it. And the last indication of someone that is being deceptive, and I've talked about it in previous vlogs, when someone invokes their own benevolence, it is typically a sign that they are trying to hide their own malevolence. Going back to my vlog where I broke down Matt Gaetz' examination of Pamela Karlan, and her answer exuded defensiveness. Well, I've been giving a lot of money to charity because there's a lot of poor people in the United States these days.
Professor Karlan, you gave $2,000, or you gave $1,000 to Elizabeth Warren, right?
I believe so.
You gave $1,200 to Barack Obama?
I have no reason to question that.
And you gave $2,000 to Hillary Clinton?
That's correct.
Why so much more for Hillary than the other two?
Because I've been giving a lot of money to charity recently because of all of the poor people in the United States.
Well, those aren't the only folks you've been given to.
Aside from the fact that that actually wouldn't explain why she gave more to Hillary than to Obama, that answer in which she infused her own benevolence was actually a clear indication that she felt defensive about the true answer to that question. And Nancy Pelosi, when she invokes her own benevolence of having been brought up in a Catholic household and therefore takes offense to the mere suggestion that she would hate anybody, is the telltale defensive answer that is attempting to cloak the defensiveness in benevolence. And it's also a way to absolve oneself of any form of critique. My observation in law is that when a lawyer or a witness starts invoking their own benevolence,
I've been doing this for 20 years and this is the first time anyone has ever accused me of any such thing, blah, blah, blah.
typically it is in fact to conceal their deceptiveness. And the other thing is, what is that supposed to imply for the rest of the world? Is Nancy Pelosi actually suggesting that as a result of her Catholic upbringing, she is less likely than other people to be filled with hatred? Here is the thing about hatred. It is a human sentiment. It is a universal human sentiment. No one is immune to it regardless of their upbringing. But typically when someone tries to invoke a fundamental aspect of their identity in order to deny an accusation, it is because they are being deceptive. They are either trying to shift the blame or make themselves impervious to it. And anybody who says that they don't hate anybody is simply not being honest with themselves. Hatred is a normal human emotion. Saying you don't have hatred is like saying you don't have love. But it is a human emotion that people have to make a deliberate attempt to confront. I read a great quote the other day that hatred is like acid. While it may be able to harm others, it will also invariably end up destroying its own vessel. And it's something that I said in previous vlogs as well. Hatred hatred is a consuming force. In the process of litigation, it ends up consuming the litigants. Everybody feels it is a human sentiment, but people have to address their own hatred lest it end up consuming them. So that is my reading not only of Nancy Pelosi's body language, but also of the things she says. Some media outlets are describing Nancy Pelosi's response as tearing into a reporter. Nancy Pelosi rips reporter who asks her if she hates Trump. All that I see in this entire response is deceptive responses. And I think she was triggered into responding because she felt personally attacked by the accusation. And as I've said in previous vlogs, the accusations that hurt the most are the ones that the person actually feels to be true. Instead of going into what I feel was a 90-second deceptive response, she should have just ignored the question and moved on with the day. And that's just my opinion for what it's worth. If you like my videos, you like my content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section below. If you want to support the channel, there's a PayPal link, merch links, all in the pinned comment. But the best thing you can do to help me grow is share my channel with someone you like, tweet it at somebody, share it on Facebook. You know, share. Sharing is caring, as they say. And now you know your vlog. Peace out. Booyah!